All right, so first of all, I just thought it would go without saying that this is a yoga class, and I've themed this class around happiness, mood boosting, re-energizing. And if you haven't done yoga before, essentially, yoga is a practice around mindfulness, finding calm, finding inner peace, finding moments for yourself, and just to improve your overall well-being. So it's very much a lifestyle, but it's also a philosophy as well. So in today's class, we are going to be doing some poses, some breathing, some stretches that are all about re-energizing us. So I will talk you through it. I'm going to lead this at a pace that I would assume most of you are beginners or perhaps haven't done much yoga before. So I'll be guiding you through every single step of the way. But essentially what we're going to be doing is really opening up our front body. So when we're practicing yoga, we're always thinking about kind of energy. And you might know a little bit about energy, like we can feel sluggish or we can feel excited, things like that. So when we do stretches that really open our front body, so things like opening the chest, opening the shoulders, stretching the tummy, this has got a really kind of uplifting, boosting effect. So that's what we're going to be going for today. So just to begin, I know you can't see me, but I'll stay nice and close to the microphone. I just want you to start by finding a comfortable seated position. So I'm sitting with my legs crossed, but I'm mindful that not everybody is comfortable with their legs crossed. So just sit however feels good. You can sit on your knees, you can have your legs out in front of you. But what you do want to try and find is a tall spine. So what we mean by that is quite often we can sit in quite a short, rounded posture. So imagine there's kind of like a rope at the top of your head and it's being pulled up, and you find this length all the way from the base of your spine through to the crown of the head. And now if you feel comfortable, I'd like you to close down your eyes. And if you're not comfortable doing that, you can just take a soft gaze down towards the floor. And then just take a couple of shoulder circles, lifting your shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Good. One more. Good, and then just finding a comfortable position with your hands, maybe on your knees or on your lap. Or another really nice thing you can do is place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And this can be quite good for when we're going through the breathing technique. So maybe I'll sit a little bit taller now. So like I said, eyes can be closed or looking down towards the ground. And we're just going to open this yoga for happiness practice with some mindful breathing. So first of all, just bring your attention to your breathing. And if you're breathing through your mouth, I'd like you to breathe through your nose. And just noticing the sensations of the breath as it moves in and out. Rise and the fall of the breath. And there's this kind of balanced quality to the breath. So you've got in, out, up, down, filling up versus letting go. And sometimes this simple practice of connecting with your breath and really feeling it move through your body can instantly allow you to connect into this moment and be less distracted about how your day has been or anything that's been playing on your mind. Now, if you're not used to focusing on just this one simple thing of focusing on your breath, it is very normal and it is very human for your mind to want to wander. So all I ask is that instead of letting those thoughts build up and take you on a journey, just bring yourself back to the breath. See if you can draw the breath in through the belly, into the rib rib cage and up into the chest. And feel everything soften as you exhale. We're just going to do a couple more breaths without me talking now, just so you can really connect with it. So again, full expansive breaths in through the belly, ribs and chest as you breathe in. And everything softening as you breathe out. Now just bring your hands together. It's what we call prayer hands. And with this idea of mood boosting, finding a more positive focus for our practice, I just want you to find this sense of gratitude for your ability to be here. Maybe it's gratitude for the opportunity that the school arranged this for you. Maybe it's gratitude for your body, your health. Whatever it is, just starting this practice from a positive space. And it's shown that practicing gratitude can have a real mood boosting effect. It can really shift our narrative from a negative to a positive one. Okay, and then opening the eyes if they're closed, and we're going to start to make our way through some gentle poses. So if you are coming down onto the floor now, I want you to come onto your hands and your knees. So again, just a reminder, I'm not necessarily going to be able to see you through the screen, whether you're watching this live or as the recording, okay? But I'll do my best to guide you through. So we're just going to bring ourselves into what's called tabletop position. So wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. And we're just going to start to move through our spine. So I want you to start to drop your chin towards your chest and really try to round your spine. So it's like you're creating a camel hump through the spine. And then begin to look forwards. And as you look forwards, start to push your chest through your arms and feel this dip coming into the lower back. So we'll do those two shapes again. So we're going to bring our chin towards the chest, relax the neck, dome up through the spine. Slowly start to look forwards. Create that little dip in the lower back as you try to shine your chest through your arms. So let's start to connect the movement with the breath now. So we're going to take a breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, round your spine. Inhale, lift your chest and chin forward. And exhale, round your spine. Just do that one more time through. So as you inhale, you're really pulling your chin forward and up and lifting your chest through. And as you exhale, you feel like you're pushing the ground away from you and creating that rounded, curved inner feeling. Good. And then bring yourself back to a more natural position on your hands and your knees. Alright, now from here, we're going to take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And just notice how I'm starting to really stretch that space across my chest. come back onto your hands and your knees. So I'll do this one a little bit closer towards the camera now. So you're still on your hands and your knees, looking to the top end of your mat. So now you're going to do your right arm. So your right arm comes all the way up. Notice how I'm slightly twisting and opening my chest. And then your right arm threads through and behind the left arm. Big breath in as you take the right arm up. And a big breath out through the nose as you reach the right arm through the gap. All right, just do 2 more. Inhale, take that right arm all the way up. And then exhale, reach the right arm through towards the left side. One more time. Inhaling up. And exhaling, reaching. All right, and then coming back onto your hands and your knees. And just notice how you've started to create space through your spine. So we can often get quite stagnant and stiff through the back. So that should feel quite freeing. I now want you to bring your toes together, so maybe your feet were about hip width. Bring your toes together and just start to bend your knees as if you're starting to sit on your heels. If you can't bend your knees this deep, don't worry if your hips are a little bit deep. Just bend as much as you can. We're coming into child's pose now, so I need to just slowly walk your hands forward and let your head come down to the floor. Stay in your child's pose. And this pose is your resting pose, okay? So you can come to this position whenever you need it, whether it's through feeling a little bit tired or if you've got an injury and it starts to kind of play up throughout the class. You can always come to this space. It's a really good position for your body, good for your hips, good for your lower back, your shoulders, but also it's a nice safe space to come to. All right, we're just going to do a couple more slow mindful breaths in through the nose and out through the nose in this position. Nice, and then bring yourself back up onto your hands and your knees and make your way all the way down onto your stomach now. So lay all the way down. Now, if for any reason you aren't comfortable laying down on your stomach, I will give a second option. Otherwise, we're going to have our hands just next to our chest. Have your feet slightly apart and start to lift your chest off the ground by pressing your hands into the floor. Don't worry if you don't lift up as high as me. And then slowly lower back down. So this is all of the energizing work we're doing in your knee. So we're going to lift the chest off the ground, pressing our hands into the floor, and then lower down. Good. I'll show you one more time. Breathe in as you lift. And breathe out as you lower. And again, don't worry if you don't lift as much as me. So I'd like you to carry on doing that if you're able to. If you're not able to, you're going to come back to that cat-cow. So you're going to inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale into your cat. So everybody just do one more cycle through. So whatever you're doing, you're inhaling to lift your chest either forward or up towards the ceiling. And then exhaling, relaxing down. This is really good for strengthening throughout our spine and helping through our posture. Alright, and then from here, keeping your hands near your chest, tuck your toes, press yourself up onto your knees. I know that's not always easy. And then tucking your toes, lift your knees. And we want to think about lifting our bottom all the way up towards the ceiling for downward facing dog. So relax your neck. Make sure you're looking through your arms towards your knees. Now, even though this is one of the common sort of simple poses of yoga, it's not always the easiest. Maybe you find this hard on your wrists or your hands, or maybe on your hamstrings. So feel free to have a little bend in the knees if you need to. And if it ever gets too much, just bring yourself back to your child's pose. We're all just going to stay in downward facing dog for one more deep breath together. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. And then slowly we're going to bring our feet towards our hands, keeping our hands reaching down towards the floor and the arms hanging down. So making yourself all the
way towards the top end of your mat and just folding the body in half. So notice how I've bent my knees here. This is really good for stretching out the lower back. If you are naturally a little bit more flexible, you can go for a straighter leg, but really just listen into your body. And relax the head down, relax the shoulders down. And then we're going to slowly stand ourselves up, thinking about uncurling through the spine. Keeping the head hanging down. Good, and rising tall. And then once you've risen, just take a few shoulder rolls, moving your shoulders in circles, trying to take the shoulders up, back, and then down. All right, so we're just going to take a moment to do another breath practice now. So this breath practice is called Breath of Joy. So I chose it because of the theme of the class. So when we breathe, we're able to kind of shift and create a little bit of new energy. So if you think about our breathing, if we're ever anxious or if we're ever having a panic attack, we have really sort of short, sharp breaths that are all up into the chest. When we're relaxed, when we're sleeping, we have these really slow, steady breaths. So you can see how with different kind of emotions and kind of states throughout our day, our breathing changes, and we can control the breath to try and control emotions and recreate them in a way. So this breath work is really boosting and uplifting, and it also includes big movements with the body. So for that reason, where we're using big movements with the body and we're controlling the breath, if you've got any recent eye injuries, head injuries, if you suffer with high blood pressure, or maybe you're recently pregnant, this might not be good for you. If you're joining in with me live now, then you can just choose to do some mindful breaths like we did at the beginning, maybe hand on chest and belly. Otherwise, join in with me and we're going to try and do 10 big breaths. So the important thing to know when we do this is we're breaking the inhale into 3 parts. So we're going to be going like this. So you're taking kind of like 3 short inhales to fill yourself up. And then we do 1 big exhale like this. So maybe just try that with me now. So 3 inhales. And then an exhale. And I know you can feel a little bit silly if you're making noise, maybe you're amongst other people, but just really try and give it a good go. All right, so we're going to go through that one more time. So we go inhale, inhale, inhale. And then we exhale. All right, but we're going to do that with big movements and gestures with our body. So we'll practice that as well. So you want to stand with your feet about hip width distance apart. On the first inhale, we're going to sweep the arms forward. On the second inhale, we sweep the arms out to the side. On the third inhale, we sweep the arms up above the head. And then we want to make sure we've got a little bit of a bend in the knees. Imagine you're throwing a ball down on the ground and you kind of gently slam your body down. And then we start again. So we rise up with the arms in front of us. We take the second inhale with the arms to the side. Then we take the third inhale with the arms up. And then a little soft bend in the knees. We slam the arms down to the ground. So bringing yourself back to that standing position, nice and strong in your thighs, but a little bit of looseness. We're going to go through this 10 times. You're welcome to go at your own pace. If you get lightheaded, then stop. And again, remember there was a couple of contraindications. So if you don't want to participate, maybe just some nice deep mindful breaths here. Okay, so those 3 inhales, off we go. 5 more. Really commit to it. Give it everything. Loosen up. Maybe even use it as a little bit of a stress release. 3 more. 3 mini inhales. 1 big exhale. I may have lost count. We're going to do 1 more. Back to standing. Close your eyes. Have your hands at the sides of your body. And I just want you to feel any shift in your body. So for me, I feel quite energized, ready to go. when we think of energy in yoga, we want to think about how it travels through our body. It travels through our breath, through our blood flow, everything like that. So we're feeling really energized. So if you did like that, it's called Breath of Joy. You can do that whenever you like. 10 rounds is great. So with that energy that we've created, we're going to go through a short sequence now. So we're going to go through what's called a sun salutation. So if you do have a mat like me, come right to the front end of your mat, all right? Feet together, or if that's not comfortable, take your feet slightly apart. I'm going to guide you through one round of this sequence without cueing your breath. So therefore, I just want you to breathe at a comfortable rate for you, trying to breathe in and out of the nose. The second time, I'm going to synchronize your breath and your movement together. So if you are a beginner, there's a lot going on, a lot to coordinate. Just accept where you're at. It's okay to be a beginner. But yeah, we're going to try and do that whole inclusive experience, okay? So feet together or slightly apart if you need. We're going to take the arms all the way up towards the ceiling and then fold the body in half. So we're essentially reaching towards the floor. If this is tightening your hamstrings, just bend your knees and soften through your lower back. Now we come up to a halfway position. So essentially lift your chest halfway up from the floor and you can support your body by resting your hands on your shins. And then start to bend your knees enough that you touch the floor. Make sure your hands are nice and firm. We're going to step the feet all the way back to the end of the mat. And notice how I've got this long parallel line with my body. If this is a little bit too much for you, drop your knees now and just make that a little bit more comfortable and gentle. Untuck your toes, bend your elbows, and we come all the way down to the ground. So we're ready for that cobra pose that we practiced earlier. So we lift the chest using the press of our hands to help us. And take the body back to downward facing dog from here. Tuck your toes, press up through your knees, and lift your bottom as high as you can. Remember, if you don't like this position, maybe take your child's pose instead. We're going to stay in this position for a couple more deeper breaths. In through the nose. And out through the nose. In through the nose in your downward dog or child's pose and out through the nose. So wherever you are, we're now going to start to make our way all the way back towards our hands. So walk your feet forward. Allow your feet to meet your hands near the top of your mat. We find that halfway up position. So straighten your legs and lift your chest halfway up from the floor. So we're not in half and we're not standing. And then relax. Remember, you don't have to have straight legs. Stand all the way up, take your arms to the sky, and then bring your hands down the center line of your body. So I'm going to teach you that flow now, moving with your breath. So typically in yoga, any upward movement is an inhale, and any downward movement is an exhale. So that might help you, but again, don't worry if you get a little bit lost, but just make sure you're not holding the breath. You want to keep that breath flowing, all right? So this is called your sun salutation A. So we start with the hands at the side of the body, mountain pose. Arms to the sky, breathe in through your nose. Hands to the floor, breathe out, forward fold. Halfway rise, inhale, breath. Go down to the floor and touch, breathe out. Hands are strong, step backwards, breathing in as you step back. And then breathing out as you go down towards the floor slowly. So you want to have our hands next to our chest and our feet relaxed. Inhale, lift your chest. You're looking forwards, not at the camera. Exhale down. And then up to your downward facing dog. Inhaling, press up. And exhale. So just a reminder, you can either stay in your downward facing dog, or if that's a little bit too strenuous, always come back to that child's pose, resting position, okay? Your choice, stay in either downward facing dog or child's pose. Slow, steady breaths. All right, we're going to start to bring our feet towards our hands now at the top end of your mat. On your inhale, halfway rise. On your exhale, lower back down, forward
open energy in your mountain pose, standing with a sense of confidence, feeling this kind of better posture across your chest and your shoulders, strength through your legs. We're going to make our way through our next sequence now, which is going to be a little bit more specific to this class, all right? So take your hands all the way up again, big breath in, and then as you exhale, fold the body in half. Find your halfway lift, inhale, and then exhale, drop your hands. Now listen carefully, we're only going to step the left foot backwards, so big step back with the left foot, and lower your left knee down. Now ideally I'd like you to have that knee behind the hip. You can see that diagonal angle I've got with my thigh, but absolutely okay if you prefer to be a little bit more upright here, okay? So just start by bringing your hands onto your knees. I'm just going to adjust my back leg into that preferred position. Alright, and if you need to put like a towel or a cushion underneath this knee, that's absolutely fine. Good. Now, if you struggle with this position, I'd suggest sort of sitting yourself a little bit further up and maybe resting your hands on your knees. If you find this feels quite good, because again we're opening through that front body, we're going to take the arms all the way up. Okay? So I'm going to face you now. So your right leg is forward and your left leg is back. We're going to start to do some big movements with the arms now. So as you inhale, I want you to cactus your arms. So that's a nice bent elbow position. And as you exhale, take the arms back up. Inhale, cactus your arms, and if it feels good, maybe look up. And then exhale back to that start position. One more time. Inhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades, option to look up. And exhale. Good. And then wherever you are, everybody bring your hands down to the floor, either side of your right foot. Then from here, we're going to come into a tall position. So tuck your left toes, your back toes, lift your left knee. Notice how I'm now in this higher lunge. Your right leg is going to be working a little bit more, and we take the arms all the way up again. If this feels a little bit too strenuous, shorten your stance, okay? And just notice how my legs are apart. This is what's going to keep you stable. If your legs are kind of in one line, you're going to feel a lot more wobbly, okay? So just make sure you've still got that hip width stance, okay? So right leg is bent, left leg is slightly straighter. And again, you can always shorten that stance if you need to. So with the arms now, we're going to take a big breath in and wide circle with the arms. And then exhale, sweep the arms back up. We want to go for maximal size of movement. So inhale, big stretch across the chest. And exhale. One more, inhale. And exhale. Now, to come into our warrior two pose, we want to turn this back foot. So we start to rotate the foot so the heel is in the middle of the mat and the toes are pointing out. Just make sure you can see that. Alright, right toes and knee are still pointing forwards, and I've now turned to face the side of my mat. So previously I was facing the front, and now I've turned to face the side. So right leg is bent, right arm forward, left arm back. Soften through your shoulders and really feel like open here. Open through your thighs, open through your chest, and just kind of strong in this pose. Flip your right hand now, so your right palm is facing upward, and then slowly lift your right hand to the sky as you relax your left arm on your left. And just a reminder, you can always have that slightly shorter stance if you feel that's a little bit too intense on your thighs. So, right arm is reaching up to the sky, left arm is relaxed down. And now slowly start to bring your hands all the way down to the floor, either side of your right foot. And we're going to rotate onto the left toes and bring the left knee back down onto the ground. So our final sequence, final pose in this sequence, we're going to keep the left hand on the floor and take the right hand up. So I'll give you another view of that from the other side. So your right foot is still the one at the front, left hand is on the floor, and your right arm is reaching. So really think about all of that opening and space that we're creating. This is that re-energizing part of the practice.
it. Start to bring your right hand down to the floor. And then we want to start the sequence on the other side. So when you're ready, just step your left leg forward and relax. So let's get ready to do that sequence on the other side. So now your right leg goes backwards and your right knee goes down. If you don't find it comfortable to be in this sort of long outstretched stance, just shorten your stance a little bit and make it a little bit less intense, a little bit kind of less strenuous on the muscles of the joints. If you like to take slightly deeper poses, then maybe find a stance that looks a little bit more like mine. You're welcome to keep your hands on your thighs to make it a little bit more comfortable, or we're going to take the arms all the way up. So just for the purpose of being on camera, I'm going to turn to face you. Alright, so as you breathe in, cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulders back, and option to lift your chin. And as you exhale, relax. Inhale, cactus with the arms, maybe lean back a little, and then exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Alright, bring your hands down, and we're preparing for our tool lunge now. So we lift that back knee off the ground, alright? So it was down, it lifts, and then when we feel ready, we take the arms up. Notice how my feet are wider. Really normal to feel a little bit wobbly, but just make sure your legs aren't crossing over each other, otherwise you'll be extra wobbly. So make sure you've got that hip width distance. If you don't like that long stride, just sort of shorten your stride a little bit. It's still the same pose, alright? So with the arms now, we're going to do big circles with the arms. Inhale. Exhale to really focus on opening your chest. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Start to turn your back foot. Have a little look at my right foot. I'm just turning it. Yeah? So the heel turns in and the toes turn out. Left arm goes front, right arm goes back. Alright, so it looks like this. I'm going to face the other end of my mat so you get a good view. So your left leg is still forward. You haven't flipped yourself on your mat. Your left leg is forward, so is your left arm. Your right arm is at the back. Left palm flips and lifts. Reverse warrior. Really explore this space through the side of the body. Then slowly bring your hands all the way down to the floor, either side of your foot, and bring your right knee down. Right hand on the ground, you're going to rotate, take that left arm up, line back to the side. And again, you'll still be facing front and forward, okay? Slowly bring your left hand down. Let's find a child's pose. So knees apart, toes together, bend your knees as much as you can. If you can't bend your knees quite as deep, just keep your hips up and then walk your hands forward. And again, if you can bend a bit deeper, just sink your body down. Try to control your breath again, in and out of your nose. And see if you can just find a little bit more joy in what we're doing. Slowly start to make your way up to a downward facing dog, just so you can start to walk your feet to your hands and eventually stand yourself up to meet me. So I wanted to include a balance in this class. I just think it's a really kind of nice way to firstly test out physical balance, but just find a little bit more focus and control from the practice as well. Because particularly with balance, I find it is very easy to just be single task focused. So we're often quite busy thinking about lots of different things, but when you're balancing on one leg, it's pretty difficult to think about lots of different things. So I'm going to do the same leg as you, so it might be slightly flipped on your camera, so just listen to my left and the right. So you're going to stand on your right leg first and just turn your left knee to the side. Okay, so notice how I've twisted over my hip and turned my left knee to point to the side. Now see if you can bring your left heel to rest on the inside of the leg, not the front of the leg. Okay, make sure it's on the inside, and just keep your toes on the floor. Try and avoid your right hip pushing out and just squeeze it in and just feel a nice, gentle, kind of bracing feeling across the abdomen and lower back. And then bring your hands to prayer. Now, if you find this feels pretty comfortable from a physical balance point of view, maybe instead of keeping the left toes on the floor, you bring the whole of the left foot on the inside of the leg. And again, avoiding that right hip pushing out and using your glute muscles and your core muscles to just cinch yourself back in. Absolutely okay for you to go hold near a door. Okay, you can do the same pose here if you like. If you want to progress it even further, maybe bring your foot further up your leg. Okay, so the further up it is, the harder the pose. Now, with this idea of finding joy and happiness, I feel like sometimes we just need to embrace a little bit more of that inner child, that playfulness, okay? So I want to challenge you to close your eyes. Now, most of you are probably going to lose your balance, or at least find it wobbly, and maybe this will be the first moment that you'll smile throughout the entire class. So closing down your eyes if it feels safe to do so. And every time maybe you wobble, feel free to open your eyes and reset. And maybe just exploring a little bit of creativity with your tree. If you want to take your arms up above your head, you want to open out your arms, maybe find a really kind of odd shape with your arms, whatever feels good. And again, maybe closing the eyes. Slowly opening the eyes if they're closed, and we're going to change side. Feel free to just shake out the legs. So I'll just remind you of all the levels. So we're going to balance on the left foot. Level 1, we turn the knee, but we keep the toes on the floor and only rest the heel on the inside. Level 2, work the foot up the inside of the calf. Or level 3, working the foot any higher up than that. Hands are in prayer, and we're avoiding that left side hip push. So keep everything nice and centered. We're exploring maybe different shapes with our arms. And then closing the eyes, just enjoying perhaps not being quite as good at something. Maybe taking it too seriously. Maybe finding a different shape with your tree arms. In a more restorative way now, so there'll be a lot less standing, and this will lead us into some relaxation. So just find yourself in a comfortable seat. I'm just going to turn to face you now, and actually I think I'll just lower the camera as we are going to be down on the ground. So I want you to come into butterfly, which is essentially like a diamond shape with your knees and feet. So you can either let your feet slide further away from your groin, or if you want to keep them much closer, you can. Alright, so let's find that tall spine again. So typically, maybe you're a little bit tighter in the lower back. The spine might want to do this. Just see if you can actively lift yourself up a little bit. Holding onto your ankles or your toes, just guide yourself forward into a slight posture. Letting your knees fall out wide. Again, if you can see my knees are still quite lifted, they're not down. Absolutely okay. I'm just going to invite you to start to close your eyes now. So as we come into the more restorative part of the practice, it's good to start to re-internalize your focus. So becoming a little bit less worried about what I'm doing on the screen and what's doing around you. And just focusing back on your breath, your emotions, anything that comes up for you. I'm just going to leave you in silence to finish the pose. And I just want you to focus on your breath. Start to sit yourself up now. Use your hands to close your knees. We're going to come all the way down onto your elbows. Make sure you've got plenty of space. Bring your knees in towards your chest and just So just use your right hand to draw both knees over to the right side, all the way down onto the ground next to you. So your knees and your ankles are completely resting on the floor. For some people, we need to adjust. So if you need to sort of lift your head or wiggle your shoulders, then do so. And then maybe open your right arm out to the side. Instead of keeping your gaze up towards the sky, maybe turn your head to the left. So knees to the right, head to the left. This is a really nice way of just deepening resting. This is so nourishing for our spine, for our neck, for our hips and thighs. To really start to let go of anything so pent up and stressing out about things, just learning to let go and ease into it. Again, feel free to close your eyes and focus on the next couple of breaths. If your head is turned to the left, start to bring it back towards the ceiling. And then start by lifting your left leg back to the center. And then just use momentum to roll your right leg back to the center. Hug your knees in, take a moment in that neutral position. So right arm reaches to the right, and your left arm guides your knees over to the ground on the left side of the back. Knees to the ground, feet to the ground. Make any adjustments with your shoulders or your hips or the neck that you need. Option to look up towards the ceiling or turn your head to the right. Maybe closing down your eyes and just focusing on your breath. If you are looking over to the right, bring your head back to the center, and then lift your right knee followed by your left knee back to the center. We're just going to do one more pose, and then we're just going to lay down into some relaxation, okay? This pose is for stretching across our hip and our glutes. So when you call an exercise, you can really simple. It's only being quite tight. So have your left foot flat on the ground, cross your right ankle just over that left arm. You might feel like this is enough of a stretch. So if you feel something across that right leg, stay there. Otherwise, I want to lift up your left foot and reach both hands around the back of your left thigh. So I've kind of got my right hand between the legs, so it can easily wrap around. And I'm just gently pulling my legs towards me to explore that stretch in the right thigh. Now, as much as I'm asking you to pull your legs towards you, try not to over-exert, alright? Just a gentle pull, just so you're not creating any extra tension through your body. Slowly release, and then we'll go to the other side. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. If this is enough, stay here. Otherwise, picking up your right foot, placing the hand around the back of the right thigh, and gently drawing in towards you. And release. Alright, so we're going to come down into our final relaxation now. So let your legs be out long and let your arms be at the side of your body with your palms to the sky. Let your neck relax as you take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And if this for any reason is not comfortable for you, then find a lying position that is comfortable. Close down your eyes. And to arrive, we're going to do 3 cleansing breaths. And cleansing breaths help us to let go physically and energetically and emotionally, so we can just lay in bliss. So we're going to inhale through the nose, open the mouth and sigh out.
feel that tension release from your body. Breathe in through the nose and sigh it out. One more breath like that. Inhale, deepest breath all of class. Open the mouth and let it go. And then just let your body be completely heavy against the ground. Closing down the eyes if you haven't already. And just gifting yourself these next few minutes. So you've already carved out this time, and the stillness is just as important as the moving and the breathing. So just bathe in it. This space, we are in this space of kind of absorbing now, resetting, re-energizing. So just trust that you're in a safe space, and then I will guide you out in a short moment. The option to pause the video or stay here a little bit longer, you are welcome to. Otherwise, I slowly want you to wake up your body by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, circling your wrists, circling your ankles. And then just very slowly start to lift yourself up into a tall seated position, and just pressing your palms together, prayer hands, sealing the practice. Closing down the eyes. And just before we finish the practice, I just want you to remember or imagine a recent time where you experienced joy, happiness, contentment. It could be a simple joke with friends, watching the sunset, watching your favorite TV show, eating something you enjoy, being with a certain person. Just try to connect with that moment. And then just remembering that joy, that happiness that you felt in that moment. Just trying to cultivate and experience that now. Feel it within your bones, within your body. Keep that memory in your mind and silently repeat after me. So repeating just in the voice within your mind. May I appreciate the joy in my life. May I appreciate the joy in my life. Practice with this feeling of joy and happiness, and we'll just take a soft bow forward. Thank you so much, everybody.